Well, you know the feds don't use drones inside the United States to spy on people, right? Yes, they do. In fact, that's what the FBI director himself, Robert Mueller, told a Senate committee today.
Does the FBI use drones for surveillance on U.S. soil?
Yes.
I want to go on to a question.
And well, let me just put it in context, though, in
Sure.
a very, very minimal way, and very seldom.
Very minimal, very seldom. Director Mueller went on to say that the FBI is still working to establish the proper rules for using drones above U.S. soil. So let's get this straight. They spy on us from above, but they don't have the rules in place yet. It's convenient, isn't it? Remember, this is the second time in less than a week that the FBI director has testified on Capitol Hill. Last week, a House committee grilled him on everything from government surveillance to the Boston marathons to the controversy at the IRS. Now we know the drones are up there, but they use them seldomly, and they don't have the rules in place yet. This is very comforting, Doug.
Maybe to you, Chef. To a lot of people, it's obviously not comforting, and he did suggest that legislation is needed. I think a lot of members of Congress would agree with that. He also told the Senate Judiciary Committee that the FBI has now 12 agents from the Washington field office working on the IRS investigation, with more agents assisting from FBI headquarters and other offices around the country, depending on where the investigation ultimately leads. But Senator Jeff Sessions tripped up Mueller a little bit when he told the director that he had learned just this morning that no alleged victims of IRS targeting had yet been interviewed by the FBI.
None of them have been contacted about an interview, even an appointment set up with them. I think that's pretty slow. I think the first thing you do, from my experience, is you go out and interview the people and find out what conversations they had, what documents they have, what the basic parameters of the problems are, and get busy on it. Do you think, it seems to me that you're running behind here. What would you say about that?
Well, I am not familiar with the day in, day out details of the investigation. Quite obviously, given what you said, I'll go back and see where that is.
Sessions further pressed Mueller, not Mueller, as I said earlier, that the investigation was too slow. Mueller replied that there is a sense of urgency with the investigation, that it is not languishing, Shep.
All right, and lawmakers asked him why the FBI or others couldn't prevent the Boston Marathon attacks or the Fort Hood shooting, right?
Yes, and in response to that, in the case of the Fort Hood shooting, Mueller said that the FBI knew the shooter, Nidal Hasan, had been in communication with the radical Imam Anwar al-Awlaki. But at the time, al-Awlaki was seen as a proselytizer and a radical, but was not engaged in radical activities. And in the case of the Boston bombing, he admitted that the FBI was alerted by the Russians to the threat of the Tsarnaev brothers. The FBI went through their databases. They interviewed the pair's parents, interviewed people at the university they attended. He said there was nothing that constrained their investigation, but he added he didn't think that we could have stopped that particular attack. Chip?
Doug McKelway in the D.C. Doug, good to see you. Thank you.